temporary trench pavement goes and all services transferred over and the old main abandoned. So we really lucked out on that project. There was a lot less ledge than we thought that we might hit, and the contractor did a great job. They've moved really fast, and we had a couple little hiccups here and there, but nothing unexpected, pretty typical for a water main project. So we're pretty excited to kind of be wrapping this up a couple months earlier than we had anticipated, even with the COVID situation. So all good news on that end. And then we reached out to Pete Silver. Sorry, was there a question?
No, I was just saying that is good news. The services are the last thing. The finished paving, do we wait a year or do they do that in the fall?
The fall, they'll be coming back to do the permanent trench patch. So they'll come back and mill the trench with a 12-inch cutback on each side. That would be scheduled for a minimum of 90 days after our last day of pavement is installed for the temporary trench. So I would anticipate this fall. And then next year, the highway department will be coming back to do curb-to-curb overlay for that. So that is likely something like a summertime job. So, allow the trenches to settle fully over the winter and then have a nice, fresh, brand new pavement curb-to-curb next year by the highway department. So that's all part of the contract. We had awarded the water main installation as well as the permanent and temporary trench patch, but we're going to pay the highway department directly for funding to do the curb-to-curb overlay just due to costs, as it was cheaper for them to do it. And then, so that's assuming no other issues with the permanent trench patch in any kind of situations with asphalt plants. We're looking to kind of finish that up with our current contractor by the end of this year, and then start with the town contractor next year. Highway contractor, excuse me. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, if I may, I'd like to ask is there a generator at well 5, Tara? Is there plumbing that has to be done? I know the propane tank is in and the propane line, underground line is in. Is there an actual plumbing fitting from the line to the generator that has to be scheduled, or how does that work?
So, Frank, I'm going to defer to you, or maybe we can follow up with that afterwards once we talk to Osterman. The propane tanks were the responsibility to be provided by the owner. So that work was trenched out, and I believe Osterman was on site, and I believe it was connected to the generator, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, my understanding is that the line was installed. There was a minimum amount of propane in the tank that had to be provided to show that the tank and line would hold pressure for a determined amount of time. Once that was shown not to have a leak, the gas inspector signs off on that, and then Osterman was to connect the valve and line to the generator and fill the tanks that are on site. That is, as far as I know, that's where it's left, and it's waiting on electrical.
Excellent, because you know what I'm asking. If electrical is the last trade that has to be in there, that's cool. It's just if we need to bring plumbing over there. But it sounds like it's pretty well outside stuff. And again, I don't know the final connection from Osterman, but if maybe because it's on us as the owner, Frank, if you could touch base with Osterman or take a ride out, you can just make sure it's hard connected to the underground line and to the generator, I guess I should say, so that when the electrical work is done, we have no holdups. Because you and I both know every windstorm that happens, I'm like, oh no, I hope we don't need that generator.
Exactly.
So if you could just touch base and see what that is, and please let me know, I would appreciate that.
We'll do that.
Frank, do you want me to shoot an email over to Osterman tomorrow since you're out of the office?
If you have time, that would be great.
Sure.
Thank you, Tyler. Is there other stuff at the treatment plant, or you were saying not too much has changed?
There's not really any major updates, I guess, from what I had told you, but I just realized that I went to the site since the last commissioners meeting. So I met on site with the GC. We went through the punch list. They had pretty much completed the majority of the work that they had on their list. There's a couple outstanding items. I know Derek and the GC are coordinating with the town's locksmith to try to get everything keyed. There's a few little minor things, but the majority of the work that the GC is responsible for is complete. There are some change order items that we're just waiting for them to schedule, again, their subcontractors to get back out there to do some of this work. So, like I said, the biggest thing was they received the punch list, went through, got their guys on it, and then are kind of now waiting for their subs to schedule, which I think, what I've been hearing from the majority of the folks I've been dealing with, most contractors have not been impacted by COVID and are actually very busy with, obviously, just general spring construction startup. So we're hoping we're in the queue and hoping for an update with an actual date for some of their different subs for when they return, hopefully within the next few days. So. And then I did have Home Street updates, so we are working with the highway. Keith Silver checked in with him. The plan is to have Gravity return probably in June at this point to do the final trench pavement for that project. So it's more or less the same, is very similar to what we're going to be doing with Pine Street. We'll be doing a cutback on Home Street, and East Main is actually going to be paved pretty much from the center line of the road to the edge of the road over top of the existing trench, or the new trench, I should say. So that work will hopefully be wrapped up by the end of June, and we can close out that contract as well. So moving ahead with a bunch of these now that the spring's kind of hit and we're kicking off and getting some folks out there to wrap some of these projects up.
Sounds good. If that's it on the water side, Tara?
I think that's pretty much it, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Steve Peterson, are you out there?
I am here.
Did you have any briefings on the sewer project?
Yeah, I can give you a quick update. Unfortunately, not a ton has happened since 2 weeks ago. They have continued to button up the pavement both on Wheaton and through the intersection of 123 and 144, including the painting of the lines. So the areas that are already completed are in good shape. They are continuing to do work at the pump station, the utility extensions. They finally got the gas company and National Grid got out there and did their work. So they were able to extend both the gas for the generator and the general power for the station all the way from the street to the station. They still have to make the connection of the water service. They have to run the water service across 123 and tap into the 16-inch main. I believe it's 16-inch on Main Street. So that is still scheduled. It was scheduled for today, but they delayed it probably until next week at this point. As far as the actual pipeline work, we continue. They continue to wait for either for authorization to blast, and we continue to try and get at least some sort of formal answer out of Mass DOT on the blasting. Contractors still unwilling to go back out there and hammer rock. So unfortunately, we continue to not get pipe in the ground on Route 123. But that's the current status. We continue to try and push for answers so that we can hopefully move this forward one way or another.
Right. Well, the next couple of weeks will probably give us a few of those answers. Did I miss the final paving in the looped areas at the intersection of 140 and 123? Has that been done, or what's? Because I know we were waiting for aggregate to pave, and honestly, I haven't noticed. I drove through there and I wasn't paying attention.
So it is done. Yeah, they did the final milling and lane width paving, full lane width, as well as they repainted the striping out there in that intersection.
Excellent. So
And they replaced the loop detectors.
So that intersection is complete.
It is.
And the lights are now going on the timers as they were before.
So the all
No, I mean the sensor.
I'm not 100% if the electrician did the work. I meant to follow up on that today. So as of last week, they had done all the work in the street, and they just needed to get their electrician out. I believe he did come out and do the wiring to put it back on the timers. Everything's ready. It just needs some work on the side of the road to put it on, and I believe that was done, but I do need to get confirmation on that.
Sounds good. That would be a huge check off the wish list.
Yeah, it's something. And Frank, we also, to follow up with you, we submitted information for Cobb Street, or basically a contract to do some short-term improvements out at Cobb Street. I know you're looking at that right now.
All right.
So that's what I have on the sewer end.
Very good. At this point, I will reach out to anyone about anything, any water sewer related issues, questions, comments, additions, subtractions, anything at all. I think that brings us to the close of our probably fourth virtual meeting. I will thank everyone for their attendance, and we need to, I don't have a calendar in front of me, so I will ask someone who's more organized than I to do the next meetings at the second and fourth Tuesdays of June, whatever they happen to be.
That would be June 9th and June 23rd.
Those will work for me, Tara. Thank you. Everybody else okay with them?
That's good.
Sounds good.
Cool. Mr. Bishop, I will ask you to take your phone off of mute and make your favorite motion.
Motion to adjourn, sir.
I'll second that. And again, thank you all. And I'm really looking forward to the day when this virtual stuff ends and we can look at each other and tell a couple of pertinent stories or whatever's been happening in the day-to-day lives. But please, you all be safe, and we'll talk again in a couple of weeks.
Enjoy, Frank.
Have a good night, everyone. Have a good one.
All right.
Good night. Good night.
Bye.
Didn't you call it? Hold on a second. Hold on.
Goodbye.